Squatting a lot, Servan said he did mean to apologize for that. He had completely forgotten about the clothes he was supposed to wear. Because he spent the whole month training adapting to his new weapon, he's very excited for the exam. That was the first time Servan felt such intense malice coming from a person. But that wasn't what impressed her, she had seen that before in a friend. What really surprised her was that now it didn't feel any different from the presence of a monster. The clothes fit the boy very well, he praised their quality a lot, and must have been expensive. If they added more time, they could have done some fine adjustments because small tweaks and quality gear make a big difference. But there's nothing they can do now. Even so, he remains very motivated. Since it's a test, Servan thinks he should be a bit more cautious, but the boy wasn't talking about the test. He was talking about studying at this new school, because the test will be held there, and he had never set foot in that place. It's located on a small mountain that used to be a park, before the cataclysm that changed everyone's life on the planet. The danger level of this region is high, it's the tallest place in all of Korea. It used to be a dangerous dungeon. 30 years ago, a joint effort between the country and the Adventure Association completely cleared the place. The best hunters were gathered for it, participation was entirely voluntary, but none of them backed out. It took a full year of planning, requiring both physical and economic investments, and the result of all that planning. The mission was a complete success, celebrated by all citizens, not just in Korea, but around the world. The following problem was how to make use of that space, until one of the hunters made an interesting suggestion, that they built a school in that place. There was already a need for a center to train new adventurers. If they needed a space where these future students could be trained and guided, finding a suitable area wasn't easy. The ownership of that land was given to the adventurers who risked their lives to take control of it. Even though the story isn't well known, if it weren't for that person's donation, essential to clearing the dungeon, the school would never have existed. Jeryong had never been there, and he's sure he's not the only one eager to see the place. Seeing that they were on the highway, he didn't expect the school to be so far away. A lot happened in the last month. She asked if he knew an attack squad called J. Several of the protagonist's classmates are fans of that team, who was shocked to learn that they had all died. Their refuge was invaded, dangerous monsters broke in and attacked them. At first, it seemed like a tragedy, but several narcotics were found at the scene, along with the bodies of celebrities, which sparked major public debate. On the news, public apologies keep being broadcast. Many people are involved in the scandal. Public opinion is very divided. To clean up its image, the Hunter Association began publicizing its plans, which is why the location of the test had changed. It will be held in the Pangeo Labyrinth, a place the protagonist already knows. The second A-rank dungeon ever cleared, former home of the infamous dragon Vasuka. Meanwhile, inside the forge located at the Jinsung Company headquarters, Zika had gone there to speak with a blacksmith who had consumed all of his drinks. It had been a long time since he last drank, so he ran out very quickly. Human ability to make alcohol is awful, and he wants to know why he's being visited, and whether there's any news about the boy. Zika came to ask about the labyrinth, since he knows the blacksmith helped humans 20 years ago. He remembers it. They wanted to develop a place suitable for training hunters, and he said it was a waste of time. But Zika wants to know the details. Dragons are possessive about certain things. Once they find a target, they're developing massive ambition toward it. Vasuka is famous for liking labyrinths. Even being powerful, his nest was confusing and complex. He used every technique to make it as complicated as possible, using knowledge from various races. There's no way to take advantage of what the dragon built, so you believe the place was safe. The dragon kidnapped several dwarfs to complete the labyrinth. He doesn't know how the humans managed to defeat him, but he's certain it wasn't inside the labyrinth, because that would have been impossible. Even 20 years later, he's sure the humans only reached the surface of the place, like an iceberg. Despite saying there's nothing wrong, the place must be completely unpredictable. Zika's certain holding the test, there's a mistake. And if you can all the way there to talk to the Titan, it's because some foolish decision has been made. Maybe they'll get lucky, and even a tragedy could be used so they start valuing life from now on. Those maybe some lucky one will manage to conquer that dungeon, and Jerry only is impressed by what he sees. Candidates are already gathering to begin the test. That's a labyrinth that constantly changes shape. Since it's the first time being used for a test, no one has much information about it. Apparently, Anisha is really trying to make things difficult. The boy feels like he's being watched. About 20 people there have their eyes on him. He doesn't know what Anisha told them, but it definitely wasn't good. Sarah is completely unable to notice what's happening. Her perception is limited. The boy learned in the last month what it feels like to be targeted. It's like opening a window on a hot day. But that's not the only thing you learn in the past month. You also learn how not to be seen as a target, making potential predators absolutely sure that they're actually the prey. Looks like you'll have to wish his competitors good luck. With a little less than an hour left before the exam begins, a meeting isn't progress. The president of the Adventure Association is pleased with the changes that have taken place, thanking the help of the school's director. But he made it clear he's not entirely in favor of this, calling it a big joke that this was done just to divert public attention from the recent incident. And you believe she's not the only one in this meeting who thinks that way. And if the president wants to thank someone, he should thank the person who benefited from this situation. She is Sue Ura, the president of the board of directors of the Warrior School. The one in hopes they can understand this situation, which have been thoroughly discussed with the council. But the man disagrees with her. Still, there's not much that can be done now. It's mulliging that she likely maintains her position in the rankings because of politics. Another woman noticed the meeting was getting very tense. The bald man warned that the old guy was going too far. That test is stupid, made for stupid people, no need to react that way. But the old man didn't like those words, and began staring at young girl very seriously. He said he must be senile or forgot what happened in the past 30 years. If that's the case, it's best to keep his mouth shut. The president says the old man isn't wrong to feel concerned about the current situation. But if he wants to settle things through violence instead of dialogue, she'd be very pleased. Tension is high, and those two have never gotten along. When there is prepared for the worst, what calmed them down was an unexpected factor. A student who had nothing to do with it and was introducing himself to everyone. The president of the association hopes these people can keep calm. He knows that some people they would like to complain about the circumstances, recognizing that the only person they should complain to is himself. The meeting ends and they leave the room. The old man can't believe the petulance of the association's president was a lapdog in that woman's hands. He asked if the professor considered his words aggressive. He said they were quite aggressive and thanked him for his honesty. Since the woman has authority, he was already expecting a scenario like this, but this time she crossed the line. When it comes to graduates, she treats them very well because they are the future of the nation. But that ends up harming these kids, and they receive a laugh for having done very little. Soon the real talent stop appearing because new adventurers are very spoiled. They're fish in an aquarium being fed and kept complacent by those who control them. Few know the true circumstances of that place, and he is sure that privileged information was given to important people whose children will be taking the test. Now he wants to know if the professor thinks he was being too extreme. That woman is trying to take his school, actually their school, a direct affront. The professor will not allow that to happen since this test is not subject to cheating. His only concern is the student's safety. But that woman doesn't care about that. If the worst happens, he will need to act quickly. Not to mention he didn't talk about that feeling, but he's sure everyone is aware of a powerful bloodlust. But it's not up to them to discuss that now. There are more urgent matters. They don't know who that student is yet. They definitely has potential and he did that on purpose. The old man knows that the professor is known by students for being too strict. They don't usually get emotional about the exams, but he genuinely hopes that this boy passes. It's been a while since he wanted to personally teach someone. In this test, they need to find a treasure and take it to a designated location. They must do this in complete safety. The danger in the labyrinth was calibrated to